So I got an interesting thing that went on in my world, that I need, not guidance, but I wanted to bring up here in this forum. Um, I had someone come and they were a referral to me. They were referred from another client,
Okay.
and she's like, she came in all pumped up, and she was giving me, the whole, I heard you're awesome, you're the best, blah 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 blah, and I always defer on that because I keep pretty talented company. I mean, all you guys are way more talented than I am, and so I was trying to manage her expectations. You know what I mean? Because they come in all pumped up. You're their friend, their girlfriend. They heard that you're the second coming of hair, of a hair god. And how do you manage those expectations with when those people sit in your chair? Because I know your reputation. People sit in your chair and oh, Eddie, I heard you're awesome.
Well, you have a couple of choices. Okay, so you should stay. Okay, this is my personal opinion. This is my personal advice.
How do you handle it? Tell us.
Oh, just me specifically?
Yeah, let's use you as an example.
I humbly with humor. That's how I handle it.
Okay, you gotta get deeper into that.
Okay, like when getting referred new clients is always nice. It's always fun, right?
Love it, right? We all love it.
That's always a nice feeling. It's always a good thing. The problem is you get the referral because the client who is referring the person they are referring is now happy. They weren't always happy.
Right.
And when the person coming in, that person, the referee, the new person coming in and sitting in the chair, and she's going, "Oh my God, you did my girlfriend Jeanette or whoever, she looks amazing and she talks highly of you and all that good stuff." She's hoping that she's going to look as good as her girlfriend is going to look. Because right now she doesn't feel good, or she doesn't think she looks good enough right now, So she has some kind of a problem. And then she's hoping I could be the one to fix it for her. But what she doesn't realize is her girlfriend, Jeanette, when she first came to me, she had a problem herself. And that took time to get her to where she's at now, to looking how she's looking now. So now Pat, you're sitting in my chair. We can get you to that, but that's going to take time. Anyways, that's the issue. Like that really is the thing that a lot of us forget about is this isn't a one and done. This isn't a one chance you're going to get this going. It's going to take visits. It's going to take time. Sometimes it's going to take multiple visits. Sometimes it cannot be done all at once.
Right.
And there's sometimes a disconnect. I think you're talking more about expectation more than anything else.
Well, that was my next comment you just took, from me. Is that, I feel it's all about managing that expectation. And develop, and you're right, because most people end up, referred to you because they have a problem. There's an issue, and they were told that you could fix it. And yeah, we can, all of us, everybody watching, we can fix issues, but you got to develop a plan with them. And you really got to, like you said, manage that expectation and really, and see, I write everything down because I couldn't tell you what I did an hour ago, So with these clients, when I do their new client card, I also write out the plan right there in front of them. I write it out. This is what we're going to do this appointment. This is what we're, and build it out for them so that their expectations are managed and met.
So that's where the person being referred, that's their position. That's why they're sitting in the chair. Okay.
Right.
When they're talking you up and they're saying, "Oh, I heard from so-and-so," that's the testimony of that person who referred them. Your client, your current client, one of my current clients who referred that client into my chair, right?
Right.
Okay, fine. So I have spent time. I have proven to that current client that I am good, and that I know what am I doing for her.
For most of the time.
For most of the time, now we've built a rapport. We have a mutual respect of each other and all that good stuff. The problem is I don't know if I'm going to have that same relationship at that same degree where the person referring you likes me. We may not have that same interaction, or maybe we will. Maybe we'll have it better. Maybe we won't have it as good. I don't know the answer, Beginning, I used to really, really downplay. When people used to compliment me, I used to really downplay it really hard. Really, really, really hard. And only because I just wasn't good with, well, I'm still not good with taking the compliments, but I wasn't, I hated getting compliments. I still dislike getting compliments, but it's better than hating it. I've gotten better, right? So now I'm really focusing on just trying to accept a compliment. Because in one way, shape, or form, I'm using it as a review, as a constructive criticism, whether it's good or bad. In this case, it's good. I'm using it as a review as to how am I doing my job? Am I doing a good job? And that's really all that matters at the end of the day. It's got nothing personal with to do with me, and that was my personal hang up. It's kind of like when people would try to give me a tip. I'd always be like, no, you don't got to give me a tip. Now it's like, okay, thank you. I appreciate that you are trying to show me an additional gratitude on top of,
right,
saying thank you for the service I provided you type of thing, right? And that's where the humbleness comes in. You should always remember that we are, some people do it for fortune and fame. Some people are doing it just to pay the bills. Some people are doing it out of passion. Some people are doing it for a combination of multiple things. Some people are just doing it to pay the bills and get by. And some people are doing it as a charity. I mean, those are pretty much your options why we do what we do. Okay. So yeah, managing that expectation. Now I've gotten to the point where I do say thank you for the compliment, especially because I'm justifying what the other person thinks of me. And that is correct. Because if I'm being referred by somebody else and they're saying I'm a hair guru or I'm amazing or I'm this, I'm that.
Right.
I work my ass off to prove to that other person that I can do it. And now she is a walking billboard of my work.
Yep.
So you know what? Yeah, you're right. I am that damn good. I did make that person look that good. And it's because that person understood how I operate, under what conditions I'm doing what I'm doing. And for her type of hair, this is what I believe. This is her best look. And she took that, ran with it, and now she's looking good and she's enjoying her life.
I get that.
Can I do this for you? Well, let's talk about this. First of all, I'm going to say things. Maybe you'll agree. Maybe you won't. I'm going to advise you on things. Maybe you're going to like it. Maybe you won't. I'm going to say no to you when you tell me you want things, and that may make you happy and that may not make you happy. I may refuse to do things for you that you want, and that might rub you wrong or rub you right. I don't know where this conversation is about to go. What I will tell you is this. I am willing to experiment. I am willing to try. I am willing to attempt to do your hair, and I will do it with open communication. And as long as you feel that we are moving in the right direction, I will continue to do your hair. And if you don't feel like we're moving in the right direction, then that's totally fine. I will either refer you to somebody else, or your choice. Ultimately, it's your choice. You are welcome to try somebody else or go somewhere else altogether.
Right.
And if that is okay with you, and if that makes sense, then let's move forward and let's start doing your hair. And then hopefully one day you'll feel good about me too, and you'll be talking me up to somebody else, and I'll have somebody else referred into my chair.
I don't talk about you to anybody.
I'm just that this is how I handle referrals. Like, this is literally my whole opening thing to referrals, because Yeah, because I think, to me, it quantifies, it reinforces what the person referring me is feeling.
Right.
It still gives me an out to, and because ultimately I have to decide whether I want to do this or not. And the person sitting in the chair, they have to feel good with me too. Like there is this thing of, oh wow, I've heard this. I wonder, like, now this person has a mental image of what to expect out of me when they're sitting in, right? I either got to burst those balloons, I got to burst those bubbles, or I got to be on stage and be the imagination of what the person thought.
Right.
So I think that's what you're asking me. I hope that's what you're asking me.
That's
I hope
totally
that
what
answers what you're asking me.
that's totally what I'm asking you. I want to defer to anybody watching. How do you, put it in the comments, just quick little blurb of how you manage expectations for referrals and new clients. I'd be very interested to see how everybody handles it, because we all handle things differently, right? I always
You're way more graceful than I am when somebody sits in your chair for the first time. When they were referred, you're way more graceful about handling the compliments.
I do. The compliments. I like the compliments. I mean, who doesn't like to be complimented besides you?
It's weird.
Um, I know how you are. I mean, the way we fought over dinner checks. I think that we all handle it a little differently. But for me personally, the way I handle it is I want to meet the expectation, but I also want to manage that expectation, because I mean, if I had a magic wand, I'd have them lined up down the street. I don't have a magic wand, and we've got to do a full consultation. And that's why when it's a new client, I always tell them I do complimentary consultations. I said, please, when you book a consultation with me. Let's sit, let's talk, and and let's develop a plan for your hair, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and you're not going to, every now and then you get lucky, and on your first shot you hit pay dirt, but a lot of times it's a process, and that's the whole thing. Hair is a process, and especially if they're not happy, and correcting what they're not happy about a lot of times does not happen in one shot. True or false?
It's true. You said the word pay dirt. You just reminded me. This is a squirrel moment. Was it Ford Fairlane? Was that the movie with Dice?
Yeah.
You hit pay dirt with you hit something with pay dirt. It was like the radio. It was a line from, I got to look up the movie.
Okay.
It's like it was if the radio station calls you, and if you say the tagline to the radio station.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's something with pay dirt. You just said pay dirt. Remind me of Dice Clay.
All right, nice. Hey.
So now I got to go look up the movie. I think it was Ford Fairlane. He was an investigator.
So Carm, just roll something shiny across the floor so he'll chase it. God, child.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.